Thousands of lives have been destroyed by substance misuse and the disease of addiction. Too often, this disease is perceived as shameful, leaving families and friends to grieve in silence or struggle to recover alone. On today's show, learn about the opioid epidemic disease and how, with the removal of shame, comes the hope for survival. Know this, you're not alone. Pasco ASAP is our guest today on Bayside. Good morning and welcome to Bayside. I am your host, Shelley Sanders. We have lots to tell you about today and lots of stigma to talk about and address and hopefully get rid of. And we've also got an event coming up. We have so much to get to that there's probably not even enough time to address it all. So here to talk to us today, I know I told you Pasco ASAP, and that stands for Alliance for Substance Addiction Prevention, and that's Pasco ASAP and Pasco Hernando State College. I have a very special, unbelievably educated man, Dr. Eddie Williams. You are the program director for Pasco ASAP. You're also an associate professor at Pasco Hernando State College. And if I were to go through all the titles you hold, all the credentials that you have, we wouldn't have a show. It would just be your resume. So without further ado, I am honored to have you on the show. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, thank you. This is going to be an amazing topic to talk about today.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's a very necessary topic, but I'm glad that we do talk about it because that's the first step, right?
Yes.
Addressing, figuring out what it is, what it means, and really understanding it. So without further ado, let's start basic. Talk to me a little bit about Pasco ASAP, what it is that they actually do here in the Tampa Bay area, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so Pasco ASAP, they organize with other programs and agencies and us, PHSC, that we put out awareness about addiction, drug and alcohol abuse. One of the biggest things that we've been getting out in the community is, unfortunately, overdose due to narcotics use. And it has negatively impacted our community. We're up to almost over 150 deaths so far this year because of fentanyl.
And that is in Pasco County
Correct.
alone.
Yes.
Right.
And what is happening is that a lot of the individuals who use these substances, they may not be 100% aware what substances are laced with fentanyl. This can be cocaine, this could be marijuana, vape pens, any of these things. And it's usually a fatal dose. So one of the things that Pasco ASAP is doing and what we're doing is we're trying to get the awareness out there to prevent those from dying from narcotics overdose.
Absolutely. Talk to me about why this topic is so important for you personally. Like, how did you come to become the program director?
Okay, so pretty much, I've been practicing in not only in Pasco but also Hillsborough County for almost close to 20 years. I've worked also with DACO, and that is an organization that treats inmates in jail, and when they come out, they come over to the residential center. So that's where a lot of my experience started. Besides that, I'm a licensed mental health counselor, licensed marriage family therapist, and I see clients in my private practice that unfortunately suffers from opioid addiction, alcohol abuse, and all of those things. So in working with my patients in the outpatient realm, and also going to a lot of networking events in Pasco to try to decrease severe use and people dying, I come in contact with Pasco ASAP, and they are doing so much in the community awareness. They're organizing with local law enforcement, Bay Care, other clinicians such as myself. Sure. And we're trying to make sure that others know that this is happening, because sometimes you may not know. And, we're talking about all ages, right. So If someone comes to a parent and they're using and they are not aware that there's a lethal dose of fentanyl and narcotics out there, and it could be in a cigarette or a vape pen. And that's what, I'm so passionate about Pasco ASAP. That's why I love what they do in the community. And here at Pasco Hernando State College, it's our 50th anniversary. And for the last 50 years, we have partnered with the community. And this is another way that we're demonstrating how we're working with Pasco ASAP and trying to prevent these social problems that's happening.
For sure. I would imagine as a clinician, also as a professor, you're seeing firsthand, you have firsthand accounts as to just how epidemic this problem has become, that it is beyond the scope of what any of us could have ever perceived. We've always had some sort of substance abuse issues and substance addiction issues. However, with the onset of now, fentanyl has really changed the game, so to speak. The opioid epidemic it's not going away. Mm-hmm. And so for someone in your shoes, how does this affect you?
How does it affect me?
And what is the, obviously the ultimate goal for everyone here is to not have that issue anymore, right?
Yes.
But what is it that you see? How do you see some kind of solution come to be?
Okay. Well, definitely, I would say it affects me in both two ways, definitely, or more than one way, but two ways that come to my mind. First, as a clinician, because I'm working with families who have lost someone because they died of an overdose, situation, and the loss, and how that I'm seeing this, in the session. And, the one thing I want to do as a professional, a licensed professional, is, definitely decrease the loss, the grief, but also help them find hope. And then as an educator, as a professor at PHSE, one of the things that I'm definitely passionate about is educating my students. And, one thing about our program is that students have the opportunity to go out in the community. We also have some students who are also going to be a part of the Pasco County ASAP board, and they're going to help out with these initiatives. But the main thing is making sure that my students are ready to help out with any social problems, especially this one. This is probably the biggest social problem that we have right now in addiction, is how the loss of life and how easy the fentanyl is being designed. And they're not being designed properly, which is leading to death.
Absolutely. 150 deaths in Pasco County alone. That number is astounding. We're only, 3/4 of the way through this year. That is one too many, I'm just saying. So if you're wondering how you can help out, or if you'd like more information, here's a website for you, empoweredcommunities.org. Of course, you can always look up Pasco Alliance for Substance Addiction Prevention, or Pasco ASAP as well. By all means, whatever it is, get educated. Start there. Start to know. And we'll get more into it as we continue our conversation with Dr. Williams. But in the meantime, check out that website. It's very informative, and we're going to go to break, but we'll be back to continue our conversation, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Bayside. I'm your host, Shelley Sanders. I've been speaking with Dr. Eddie Williams, both Program Director for Pasco ASAP and Associate Professor for Pasco Hernando State College. She's got many, many titles, but these are the two that are most relevant today. Dr. Williams, we were speaking a lot about kind of the background and just there are so many avenues that we could go down, so many different trails as it relates to addiction, as it relates to the opioid epidemic in particular, which is what we're here talking about today. Frightening statistics, frightening, everything is scary about it, from the ways that it gets into our communities, into the hands of our children, loved ones, period. So you're here to talk about today, NOPE, Candlelight Vigil. And I love this acronym. It means so many things, but the reality is it's an acronym meaning Narcotic Overdose Prevention and Education. So, NOPE Candlelight Vigil. What's the purpose of this vigil, and tell me about it?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind about this vigil and event is awareness, and it's so many individuals that are not aware of how deadly narcotics is, because again, if you're not in that environment, then you don't know. So it's getting that word out that this is a problem, definitely in Pasco County, not just Pasco County, but abroad. Then the next thing, it's hope.
Right.
It's even though we've lost someone, we can learn from this.
Right.
And we learn from this by talking with each other. There's a lot of organizations there that help individuals recover from narcotics, help them find jobs after they recover, help them return to the community, even if they've been arrested. So we have recidivism programs there. We also have Bay Care. We usually have law enforcement there as well. And then usually we have speakers, various speakers. And these speakers are individuals who are providing services in the community, usually law enforcement, usually someone unfortunately who's lost somebody, and someone in recovery. And we just want to make sure that even though we're here to give remembrance for the ones we lost,
Right.
but we can find hope and strength and recover from this and find better ways to cope.
Absolutely. So, just for you at home, this event's taking place on November the 17th from 5 to 8 p.m., and that is at Pasco Hernando State College. For those of you that would like to attend, it's just a wonderful way to pay homage to those, be there for those individuals that have lost someone, because at the end of the day, like we talked about in the very beginning, Dr. Williams, the stigma that's attached to this, right? To addiction, to drug addiction. Nobody really wants to say, hey, I am so-and-so, and this is what I do for a living, and by the way, I was addicted to opioids, right? Or to have to say, it's bad enough to voice the words that I've lost a loved one, and then at the mercy of a drug addiction, right? So let's talk about that stigma. Why is that, and why have we felt such shame about it, and why is it important to continue this conversation and talk about it?
Because usually when someone is using, things come to mind, automatic thoughts. That's what we say in cognitive behavior therapy. Knee-jerk reactions. They're a bad person. I can't trust them. They're going to hurt me or hurt my family. Like, those are the types of things that come up when you think about someone who's suffering from addiction. But that person is a person, and they have feelings.
We tend to forget that, don't we?
Yes. And and what we would have to do is find a way to reconnect with that person, because what drugs do, it hijacks the brain, it hijacks your life, and that's the primary issue in your life. But with recovery, we reframe those things, we find them again.
Sure.
And we do that through hope and strength, and then we can bring that person back. And so I think individuals need to be educated on what is addiction, from not only a biological standpoint, but from a psychosomatic standpoint. And once they really get that education, they come to find out that's because someone is struggling from addiction. They're not a bad person. They're a great person. We just got to find them.
And they can be trusted, and
Yes.
they can earn all of these things back. But it's a sad reality that even that statement, earn it back. It's it's not that you're organically. No one is born organically just a bad human being.
Correct.
And so that shame or feeling of embarrassment is extended through family members as well, right?
Yes.
Where you see someone who's lost a son, and you go, "I'm so sorry. What happened?" Oh, you don't want to feel that. You don't want to feel that embarrassment, or I can't imagine how you might personalize it. What do you see from a family standpoint?
Yeah, definitely from a family standpoint, addiction and substance use causes a shift in family roles. So, there's different family roles. You know, usually someone goes into the hero mode. That could be a child. So just think of a child being in the hero mode, trying to take care of the family
Right.
when the addicted parent is using. So that's just an example of one role. But then, you know, you want to make sure that we get everybody back into a healthy role, okay?
Exactly.
Which, you know, obviously parents should be the parents and kids should be the kids.
Sure.
But
It's multifaceted, this
yes,
issue, 100%.
yes,
No matter which role, no matter what placement you are in the weave, in that web that has
yes,
been woven through addiction, for
yeah,
sure. So if you need help, if you'd like more information, or perhaps you'd like to help out, by all means, log on to the website empoweredcommunities.org. That will give you a lot of information. If anything, it'll give you some motivation and inspiration on how you could help out. Perhaps you know someone that's struggling, or you suspect there's information for you there as well. So all these things that Dr. Williams and I are speaking about, including NOPE, coming up here on November 17th from 5 to 8 p.m., that NOPE candlelight vigil, all that information and then some is on the website, so go check it out. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Bayside. I'm your host, Shelley Sanders. We've been talking all about really just diving into the opioid epidemic that is going on, and specifically in Pasco County. We've been speaking to Dr. Williams, who is both program director for Pasco ASAP and a associate professor at PHSC. Now, NOPE, even though it's a candlelight vigil, it's also almost like an organization of its own, in so much as it is there for awareness and education, just to really give a thorough understanding of what addiction is and how can we prevent it. And communication, ultimately, like almost every topic in the world, starts with communication, right? If you can't communicate or talk about it, well, you're not going to have a solution at the end of the day. That said, Pasco Hernando State College has the big 50 anniversary this year, 50 years in the making of educating people. So it's almost a no-brainer. Education goes hand in hand when you're talking about NOPE, who's the E is education, right? So talk to me about that significance. What is so special about this 50th anniversary, and how that partnership came to be?
Well, definitely, you know, that definitely let us know that we've been in Pasco and Hernando supporting the community for over 50 years. And we're going to continue to do that. And one of the things we prepare our students to be industry leaders in the community. And when it comes to NOPE and Pasco ASAP, you know, it's the Social and Human Services program, we have industry certifications such as Certified Addiction Counselor, Certified Prevention Specialist, getting students ready to work in the field to decrease their overdoses that we talked about. Sure. And so again, when we having this NOPE event in our 50th anniversary, a lot of the community agencies are going to come to our 50th anniversary on all 6 campuses. So we have a festival that we'll have on each campus, rewarding the community, bringing individuals in, and making sure that we're letting the community know that we appreciate being here and supporting everybody's educational needs, but also any needs that needs to be addressed, such as addiction and substance abuse and mental health and all of those things.
Sure. Now, who all can come to this festival / candlelight vigil?
Okay, so I just want to say it's open to the public. We advertise throughout the year. Our first event as far as the 50th anniversary will be at our East Campus in Dade City, and then we're going to go to each campus after that. So
it's almost like a kickoff to rally up before the actual NOPE candlelight vigil.
Correct. And then when we have the NOPE, again, like I said, will be a lot of the organizations that's coming to these events, the 50th anniversary, they'll also be there.
Perfect.
And we'll definitely mention, you know, ways again how they can connect with the college.
Love it. All right, for more information, you're looking at the website right there, empoweredcommunities.org. And that event, the NOPE Candlelight Vigil, is on November 17th of this year from 5 to 8 p.m., and that is at PHSC. And of course, I would suggest going to the website to find out all the festivities that are leading up to that event on November 17th. In the meantime, mark your calendars for Nope Candlelight Vigil. We'll be back after this. As always, I want to thank you at home for joining us this week on Bayside. And of course, Dr. Williams, thank you so much for being here and sharing this information, and keep doing what you're doing. So many things, even earning another degree. It kills me. Oh my goodness, this guy. So November 17th, this is the NOPE, Narcotic Overdose Prevention and Education Candlelight Vigil. I highly encourage you to get out, get involved in your community. I tell you every week, this would be a fantastic way to do that. It's important to shed light on this topic. All right, y'all have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time.